Aw shit, everyone bust out that 4th grade recorder that you didn't know how to fucking work back in elementary school, and let's get this episode going. Welcome everyone to another episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live with me, one of your co-hosts, Chase Lee, and the other co-host, Brian Sudfield. On this week's episode, we take a look at the films that are about music, so that's right, grab the musical chairs and let's get on going. That's not the same thing, you fucking idiot. Sit the fuck down, I don't want to hear another word from you. Anyways, what will Brian and I put on our list? We're just going to have to sit down, relax, and find out. How's it going, everyone? And welcome to another episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live with me, Chase Lee, and my co-host,
Brian Sudfield.
That's fucking right. And hey, listen, guys, if you're new to the show, welcome. What we do on the show is we take a look at movies that are coming out on Friday, and we will pick a movie, and we will honor said movie by picking an actor, actress, director from said movie, and honoring the fuck out of it. That's what we do on this show, and the cool thing is, it is live, so we have no idea what the hell is going to come out of our mouths, and we don't know each other's list. Mine's going to be a terrible list today. I'm just going to give you guys a full warning, and I'll explain why in just a minute. But before we get into that, Brian, how are we doing today?
I am sick as fuck, but other than that, I'm swell, I guess. How are you, Chase?
Oh, just another day in the neighborhood of the Big Old D. That's right. If you guys thought I was making a dick joke, I am not. That's what they call Dallas here, the Big Old D. It's been a good week. We're recording this on a Wednesday, and so we have not seen Wonder Woman yet. Neither one of us, but I am seeing it Saturday and Sunday, so I'm seeing it back to back basically. And Brian, you're seeing it tonight, right?
Yep, I'm going in 4 hours.
Well, that's fucking lovely because we're not honoring that. Brian, what are we doing this week?
This week we're honoring a little indie film called Band-Aid, which I have seen, by the way. Fucking awesome. We're going to be doing our favorite films about music. Yeah,
full disclosure, I've only seen about 8. Like, total. So, most of mine are going to be modern picks, so you can throw your pitchforks at me later. I'm not saying that I've never liked films about music. It's just when I was looking through the list, I've never seen half of them. I've never seen, like, for instance, the most iconic thing that Jamie Foxx has done, Ray, never seen that. Saw maybe clips of Showgirls. Never seen pretty much any film from, like, the 60s or 70s. I've seen one 80s film. Most of them, like I said, are modern. I don't know. I'm just very picky when it comes to movies about music. And I might have seen a lot more than what I'm thinking. I don't remember them. I don't feel comfortable talking about them. Because I probably have seen more. I just don't remember any of them. So the ones I put on my list, the ones that kind of stick out to me, is ones that, have kind of, had a better appreciation for the genre. So... because that's the difference. We're talking about movies about music, not musicals. There's a big difference. And so I just want to let you guys know the difference of that, because when I was looking at the list, they had a lot of musicals on there, and of ones that are listed, I'm just like, no, that doesn't count, fam. So, Brian, please save the podcast. Are you a fan of any film about music, biopics, parodies, what have you? Like, are you just a fan of that?
I am, absolutely. I appreciate when we have a good movie centered around music, whether it be rock, rap, country, soul. No matter what kind of music, I always appreciate it. Even if I'm not a fan of that particular kind of music, I appreciate the way it's depicted on screen. And look, I'm a musical fan, but we're not talking about musicals. And some of these movies, like some movies about music, are considered musicals because the main plot centers around like a group or a particular singer. Like, not all musicals are just, normal people, i.e. La La Land. Some of them are about music, and so I'm pretty excited to honor this particular type of filmmaking because there are plenty of awesome films about music. And like you, I haven't seen many older ones. I think the oldest one I've ever seen is probably from the 80s. So, all the 5 films I have on here are modern picks. The oldest one on my list is from 2003. That's the thing. So, yeah. But other than that, I'm pretty excited to do this list.
Yeah, the oldest one I have, I believe, is from the 80s. But since you defined it for me, music could be like literally just like a plot point in the movie. It just clicked to me. I think I know what your number one and your number two are now. Yeah, so now that makes total sense now I definitely know, but I don't know the rest of them. So without any further ado, let's get to the rest of them. Brian, what is your number 5 favorite film about music of all time so far?
Number 5, I'm going with the incredible biopic Straight Outta Compton.
Okay.
Straight Outta Compton, it's the biopic about NWA. Came out in 2015. Huge surprise for me because it looked good from the trailers, and it's directed by F. Gary Gray, who directed Friday, The Italian Job. He recently directed the recent Fast and Furious movie. I didn't know what to expect from this because I'm not a big fan of hip hop or rap. But I like Ice Cube. I like Dr. Dre. I've admired the craft of NWA, but I never knew the backstory, and it was really incredible. Like, when you watch the movie, it's an incredible drama. It's really well acted, especially from Jason Mitchell, who should have been nominated for playing Eazy-E. Like, that performance was absolutely phenomenal. And then Corey Hawkins was great as Dr. Dre. O'Shea Jackson Jr. surprised the hell out of me for playing, his father, and he played him pretty well. And then Paul Giamatti, great job playing the dick like he usually does. It was really well directed. The performances were great in terms of the musical performances. The riot sequence in Detroit, that was insane. I remember seeing it opening day, and I was just blown away by the movie. And, it got nominated for Best Original Screenplay at the Oscars. And by the way, like, people were laughing about that. This movie had really great dialogue. There were a lot of great lines in the movie, mainly from Ice Cube. Like, when they're on the bus and he's like, speak a little truth and people lose their minds. Like, that's a great line, like a really awesome line. And I bought the movie on Blu-ray day one, and I love it. I think it was one of my favorite films of that year. I thought it was a fantastic movie. And, yeah, if you haven't seen it, guys, I highly recommend it because coming from someone who does not like hip-hop, love this movie. Straight Outta Compton is my number 5.
Yeah, I'm going to pass. Rightfully so. Like I told you, most of them are modern picks, and I know that Brian and I gush about this one, but sorry about that. I dropped my marker. If you were wondering why there was that dead silence, that awkward dead silence of me just breathing. All right, so my number 5 is one out of 2 mockumentaries. I really like. I've seen a lot more comedy ones than I have dramas, which is really fascinating to me. So that might just tell you right there what my choice in this genre is. So my number 5, kind of upset that it didn't do as well as it did in theaters. I remember going to see it, and there was, I believe, 6 people in the theater, and we were all laughing our asses off. Even like, because I was like near the top, right? And I remember there was one person down at the bottom in my diagonal kind of like eye line, and I could hear them fucking laugh because it was so goddamn funny. I gotta go with Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping. And if you guys have not seen it, it's essentially a Justin Bieber mockumentary, basically making fun of his film Never Stop. Is that what it's called?
Never Say Never.
Never say. See, how am I supposed to know? So, yeah, Lonely Island writes it, stars in it, and 2 out of the 3 members direct it. So it's basically a Lonely Island heavy movie. It's produced by Judd Apatow, released by Universal, and I thought it was going to be a bigger hit than it was. I really enjoyed it. I gave it like a fucking A. I thought it was just funny from start to finish. I thought it was clever with all of its jokes. It wasn't just like crass for the sake of being crass. But they really do kind of push that R rating for sure. I love all the performances from Andy Samberg playing Justin Bieber and Akiva Schaffer and Jorma Dacone. These 3 guys, they just need to do more work. I love everything that they do. Yes, even Hot Rod. I fucking said it. Sue me. And I also love Jorma when he directed MacGruber. So they've done great work in the past. I just think Popstar is just, they just hit their, just keep going up. I don't think they've hit their peak yet. They're not clicking with the general audience. They're clicking, with teenagers, I guess, and a lot of people might look at that, oh, it's just toilet humor for teens, yada, yada. I'm 27, and I know a lot of people my age that like this movie. So, and like The Lonely Island in general, I think they're some of the funniest dudes, in Hollywood right now. They're just not getting their chance to just succeed. Like, none of their stuff makes money at all, and I don't get it. Maybe it's just that style of humor that doesn't click with everyone. But I thought Popstar was a really great mockumentary, and when we get to my other pick that's on my list, I think that music mockumentaries are probably the best within this genre when they are done right. Case in point, not on my list, but really ironically, I have never seen Walk the Line, but I've seen the Dewey Cox story. So I've seen the parody of the movie that pretty much got Joaquin Phoenix back in the public eye and Reese Witherspoon. So, and I really enjoyed that one. So, yeah, maybe I just gravitate more towards the comedies within this. Popstar is my number 5. I don't know. Did you put it on your list?
I didn't put it on my list, but it is really fucking good. I really enjoyed the movie a lot. I wish it did better. I don't know why it didn't do very well. As a huge Andy Samberg fan, and as someone who does enjoy The Lonely Island's works, I really enjoyed the movie. And as someone who really doesn't like Justin Bieber, and he's around my age group, and everyone my age is fond of him, mostly girls. And I'm not saying his music is bad, because it's not the worst music ever. He's just a fucking douche. The guy is a fucking douche. Like, listen.
And that's what they were kind of satirizing is his lifestyle and his kind of absurd, choices that he does either on stage or outside of it.
Exactly, and the movie did that very, very well. I liked it a lot. I thought it was really good, and it was one of the more underrated films of last year for sure.
Yeah, it was definitely. If I had to make a top 5 comedy list, it would have been in the top 3. It was that good, and I really wish more people would have saw it. But when your movie opens up to I think it was 9. No, I think it was oh shit, I think it was lower than that. I think it was 5 or 6 million. That thing fucking tanked, and when I saw kind of everyone in my audience, and I realized that in a 120 seat theater there was only 6 people. That was kind of a bad sign. So I'm glad I gave money to it because I'm willing to support most comedies nowadays. So yeah, definitely an underrated one. So number 4, what you got?
Number 4, I got the incredible Coen Brothers flick Inside Llewyn Davis.
Full disclosure, I've never seen that one or what is listed. Another one that's listed as a movie about music, which is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, which I know is sacrilegious because most film fans have seen it. I know. I'm behind in life. Sorry.
Inside Llewyn Davis follows the titular character Llewyn Davis, played by Oscar Isaac, and this takes place in the 60s. He's a folk singer, and he's trying to build a name for himself. It's a fantastic movie. It's one of my favorite Coen Brothers movies, and I think it's my favorite Coen Brothers movie of this decade so far. My favorite films that they've done, my top 2 are No Country for Old Men and Fargo, and this one's my third favorite one. I love this one so much, and I'm starting to collect the Criterion Blu-rays. This one I want so freaking badly. So badly. The music is incredible. This was my first exposure to Oscar Isaac, so this was before, he was Poe Dameron in Star Wars, and, he was Apocalypse and X-Men. So, before he was cast in those movies, I knew who the guy was, and then obviously he was in Most Violent Year, Ex Machina, a few other independent works, and it's just a great story about finding yourself and, trying to get yourself back into the spotlight and everything, and trying to make a life for yourself. Llewyn Davis is it's not a perfect character. He's got his problems in life, and he lost his singing partner to suicide, and it's really heartbreaking. And it should have gotten more buzz at the Oscars. I think it was nominated for 1 Oscar. It was really well shot. Not shot by Roger Deakins, because I think that year it was the same year that Prisoners came out, so he was shooting that, and that turned out to be incredible. But it should have gotten nominated for Best Original Song. I think Oscar Isaac should have gotten the Best Actor nomination. should have gotten that Best Picture nomination. The dialogue, of course, was fantastic. And yeah, Coen brothers are, they're always masters at what they do. And Inside Llewyn Davis is definitely one of their best films. My number 4.
And for all those aspiring actors out there, just keep in mind, Justin Timberlake has now worked with the Coen brothers and David Fincher. Does that make you your head hurt a little bit? It shouldn't, because he's actually pretty good. But yeah, no, that was one of the ones that I missed, unfortunately. The first time I ever saw Oscar was, I believe it was Ex Machina. Yeah, that was the first one. Like I fully recognized who he was, and I was like, oh shit, like this guy's really good. And then of course, Ex Machina also has Domhnall Gleeson, who was also in Star Wars. So I thought that was kind of funny that they were both in that movie. But yeah, it's a good pick. I've heard a lot of people say that this is in their top 3 favorite Coen brothers films. For me, I really like Fargo a lot because I really enjoy dark comedies. No Country for Old Men and Big Lebowski, probably. I like more of their comedic works.
You always praised the one you would always praise whenever you and I talk Coen brothers as A Serious Man.
Yes, you're right. I need to start talking about that more because it's starting to slip away. I've seen the movie 3 times now, and I think that A Serious Man is probably one of their more underrated ones. So I'll take out Lebowski because I actually think A Serious Man is better than that one. So yeah, I'll probably go Fargo, No Country, and then A Serious Man, then Lebowski, and then I actually like Burn After Reading. So there you go. But yeah, Brian is right. If you guys have not seen A Serious Man, check it out. It's just like Inside Llewyn Davis, both underrated Coen brothers films. My number 4 is Brian's number 5, Straight Outta Compton. I remember when I saw this in theaters, and I got so fucking pumped and jazzed every single time they sung a song, and they basically flipped off the police, or like flipped off people that were trying to stop them. Like, it was so powerful and so amazing, and it's so relevant to today's time and what's going on with the news and police and stuff. And I can tell you guys, full disclosure, I work for the fucking police, and yes, some of them are dicks, but for the most part, a lot of them are good people, and that goes with any other organization. There's always going to be some dicks inside of that basket, unfortunately. But back in the 90s, just hip hop and rap was not welcomed at all. And especially when you come out with a track that says literally "fuck the police," you're gonna get some heads turned, and a lot of people are gonna be totally against it. And like what O'Shea Jackson Jr. says in the movie, it's not about inciting violence. It's about speaking the reality, like speaking, the truth about what they're experiencing. So, what they're singing about has a purpose. It's not something that's just derogatory for the sake of being derogatory. But on top of all that, like Brian said, the performances are really great. Jason Mitchell in that hospital, oh sweet Jesus, give that man an Oscar nomination. But that was also the same year that, because I had a fighting battle between Jason Mitchell and Jason Segel from the
yes.
end of the tour. So that was kind of like my conflict. I was like, oh shit, like which one do I like better? So that was why I had a hard time really putting him in my personal like nominations list. But it did give us O'Shea Jackson Jr. because I remember when this film was announced, I was like, oh no, oh sweet Jesus, we're about to get into nepotism 101. Like, I hate when Will Smith does it. I hate when most people do it. But fuck me, was he good. Like, he was actually really good. And he played his dad very well. So, I like the whole progression of them starting out from nothing and then ending up as a success, going down, and then, just kind of seeing where everyone is when they kind of hit their low point and whatnot. I thought it was a really fascinating biopic. And the only complaint I have, and I said this in my review back in the day, but I'll say it again. It's just when you hear about, like, I realize, okay, I like NWA and I like their music, right? And I realize that you shouldn't just worship people and think that, they're all good and, they can get away with shit. I realize that Dr. Dre has had a past. I realize that most of the people in that group have had a past. I kind of wish they would have shown the real people a little bit and not shy away from it. And that's the issue you kind of run into when Ice Cube and Dr. Dre produced the movie. Of course they're not. Of course they're going to say, like, I don't want the bad shit in there. But I think if you if you put that stuff in there, it actually shows people that you're human and that you can learn from your mistakes. Yeah, they were shit mistakes, but you can learn from them because we're all human at the end of the day. So I kind of wish they would show more of that. But as a straight up biopic from, you know, the kind of like the rise of a group and slight fall of a group, I enjoyed it immensely. And Brian, did you ever watch? Because I bought the Blu-ray just like you. Did you watch the extended cut?
I did. Yeah, I did.
Did you like it over the theatrical?
I mean, it's the same for me. I still think the movie's absolutely perfect, and it's the same thing. I mean, there were some extended sequences, and I believe there was one deleted scene added. I haven't seen the extended cut in forever. Every time like the movie's on like HBO or whatever, I watch just the theatrical cut. So from what I remember, the extended cut had 10 minutes of extra footage. It was either 10 or 20 minutes. I'm not entirely sure. And it was still pretty good. Like, no complaints about it at all.
Yeah, it was one of those things to where I watched the extended cut and I liked it, but I'm kind of with you. I'm like, what did they add? Like, I didn't even know what they added. I was just like, I'm fine with this version of it, and it flows well, because that's the thing with these like long ass biopics. You've got to have a good pace to it. If you do not, you're going to bore everyone to tears. But this one, from start to finish, there is no dead space at all, and that's what I really appreciate about it. It just it goes hard from start to finish, and I'm telling you, that fucking concert scene when he tells them, do not sing this song, and he's like, Dre, you know what I'm about to say, and he's like, fuck the police. Dude,
yo, Dre, what up?
Yeah.
I got something to say.
Dude, I almost stood up and clapped. I was like, fuck yeah, you do your thing, NWA, you do your fucking thing. Anyways, enough about that. That is my number 4. Brian, what say you? What is your number 3?
Before I get into my number 3, before when you said back in the 90s, I was laughing inside because I thought this. Back in the 90s, I was in a very famous TV show.
There you go. That's how you do it right there.
My number 3 is the absolutely incredible, criminally underrated, should have gotten a lot of Oscar nominations. My favorite movie of the last year, Saint Street.
Ooh. Whoa, folks. Hold on here for a second. You're telling me that there's 2 movies that top that? You've been nothing but nutting on that movie for the past year.
I know.
Wow.
But there are 2 movies. The 2 movies on the top are in my top 15 films of all time.
Okay, so I'm going to flash up a letter with my fingers, because you guys can't see it. We're all audio. And if Brian shakes his head, yes, I know which one it is. Is that on your list? Yeah, of course it is, because I think it's on my list too. All right, so but I don't know the other one. That's what I'm my brain is just I can't comprehend what the hell he even likes. So all right, so once again for probably the 6th or 7th time on this show, please explain to everyone why they should see Sing Street.
Okay, Sing Street is a movie that anyone could enjoy and watch and relate to. It's a movie about a boy trying to find his dreams, where he belongs in life, and it has the simplest story ever. 80s Dublin, Ireland. This kid decides to start a band to win the heart of a girl. Everybody in their minds have dreamt of starting something just to win the heart of a guy or a girl. It's happened to everybody. I've dreamed it. I'm sure Chase has. Everybody has.
It's true. I created. Do you remember those like stretchy little bugs?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I created one for a girl one time, and that didn't work out so well. But it just shows you how nerdy I am. But anyways, continue.
Yeah, that's funny. But Sing Street, like, first of all, I have to acknowledge this. You know, all the songs are incredible. You know, and they also do covers of classic rock songs from like Duran Duran, David Bowie. They do covers of a lot of songs, and you could tell that the director John Carney, who's done 3 incredible films about music, once, Begin Again, and now Saint Street. This guy just has a love for making movies about people following their dreams and, you know, making music, and it's really great. Musical fan or not, this isn't a musical. Yes, there's singing in it, but it's a movie strictly about music and about finding yourself. The main kid, oh god, he's incredible. All the kids were incredible. The brother played by Jack Rymore was fantastic. The father played by Aidan Gillian, aka Littlefinger for you Game of Thrones fanatics, i.e. myself. He was great. Everybody was great. The principal, what a fucking douchebag. I'm not gonna spoil what the principal does, but what he does is really fucked up shit. And if someone saw him, they would have actually fired him, and they should have, but they didn't. But then, of course, he gets the same for when they make fun of him later on in the movie, which was great. Drive It Like You Stole It should have been nominated for Best Original Song. Now, obviously, it wouldn't have won because City of Stars was the best song of last year. The whole Back to the Future performance when they do Drive It Like You Stole It was incredible, because I remember when I saw the movie and they said, have you guys seen Back to the Future? I'm like, they're going to do something like, I knew what they were going to do. They were going to do the prom scene, the Enchantment Under the Sea dance, and it was so cool seeing someone pay homage to that one sequence in Back to the Future, which is in my top 10 of all time. Actually, I think it's in my top 5. Back to the Future means a lot to me, and but Saint Street, it's very heartfelt. And John Carney has admitted that he wasn't really fond of the way the movie ended. He says he could have made the ending better. Listen, John, I appreciate what your filmmaking and everything, but god damn it, the ending was perfect. I love the way this movie ended. It was very ballsy and it was really great, and it showed that now we're gonna go pursue our dreams and start a life and everything. And it was great. The whole movie is it got to me, and I saw it in March of last year, and it remains my favorite movie of the year from then to December. That's almost a whole year, and that has never happened to me before in my life. Saint Street was my favorite film last year, and it's one of my favorite films of the decade thus far. Everybody should check this out. And you know what? Weinstein, I appreciate when you do things for the Oscar campaign. And look, Lion was a good movie. It wasn't anything incredible in my opinion. The story, yes, was incredible, but the way it was depicted on screen, debatable. But I hate that they gained more Oscar buzz towards that and not Saint Street. And I'm just biased because I like Saint Street more, but Saint Street should have gotten more nominations. They did well at the Golden Globes, but it should have done better at the Oscars. It didn't even get nominated for anything, so, I'm upset about that still, but you know what? Shit happens. It's the Academy. They do what they do. Saint Street, fantastic. Just absolutely incredible. It's my number 3.
Yeah, at the very least, it could have been nominated for Best Original Song. At the very least, it could have. Because that song was so catchy. I remember I went to South by last year, and that was the first film I saw in my lineup. And my God, what an experience. I had so much fun. I was tapping my foot the entire time. I loved all the characters. It's people that we can relate to. It's yeah, we've all done weird, stupid, cool shit for, a guy or a girl that we're into. It's a thing. And that whole gymnasium sequence was one of my favorite sequences of last year. I just thought that was absolutely brilliant in terms of the direction, the music, and just the overall energy of that scene. So good. Brian, is it still on Netflix?
Yes, it is.
Perfect. So go check it out, you slackers. All right. So my number 3 is probably the first one I ever saw. The first one I ever remember seeing of anything about film about music or whatever. You gotta go with the song that won that year. You gotta go with 8 Mile. I enjoy 8 Mile quite a bit. It is the film to where it shows that Eminem can act. And not only can he act drama, he's really fucking funny. And all of his little cameos that he's had in comedies throughout these years, whether it be Funny People or The Interview, the guy's on fire. He's really good at. He's kind of he's got the Ice Cube effect where they have that stern motherfucker don't talk to me look. And they deliver it in such a deadpan way to where it works. For instance, in The Interview, Eminem says he's gay in this the interview done by James Franco on his show, and he says it so deadpan like. And James Franco's like, whoa, can you back that up for a second? You said you were gay. He's like, yeah, I'm gay. Anyways, it's just so nonchalantly, it's fantastic. But 8 Mile proved to me that he was one of these, singer turned actors that could actually do it. He actually tried, and I thought it was just a really great story about this guy trying to get out of the slums of where he lives, going to these rap battles underground. Yo, DJ, spin that shit. And you know what's really funny is I think I actually saw Scary Movie 3 before 8 Mile. So when they were making all these references and stuff, I was like, okay, that's cool. But then when you watch the movie, you can fully appreciate Scary Movie 3 even more, which I actually think is a good, sequel. I didn't say great, I said good. But it still cracks me up. Yo, DJ, spin that shit, and he can't rap at all. It's just, I don't know. I like the whole sequence. But if you want to go back to the actual movie, I remember one of the people he faces is Anthony Mackie. And he just completely tears everyone up. Like, he's such a good rapper, and you can really see the persona of Eminem in the film. And of course, he's got the love interest in Brittany Murphy, which is really odd to watch now because she passed away way too young in her career. And Brittany Murphy to me was not she wasn't like the greatest actress, but like watching stuff like 8 Mile and whatnot, it kind of showed me that when she tried, and I really appreciated her acting chops. But I love 8 Mile quite a bit. It's got that grounded kind of sense to it. Nothing feels too out there. It literally feels like it was a documentary about this guy just doing his thing, working, rapping, going to these rap battles and whatnot. So I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I know a lot of people don't really like it. And then of course the main song of the movie, Lose Yourself, is one of my favorite songs growing up, period. So yeah, I really wish he would do more dramas. I really wish. And he was this close, ladies and gentlemen, this fucking close to being in Elysium, the Matt Damon, Neil Blomkamp movie. He was
Southpaw.
And Southpaw. He was so close to doing both. But for Southpaw, I gotta respect him because he said, I don't know if I can do this. I will do the music for it, but I'll let someone else step in. So at least he let his ego kind of step down just a little bit and just yo, I'm not right for this. So, and to be honest, if it was him instead of Jake Gyllenhaal, if he could pull off the Jake Gyllenhaal character in that movie, we could have seen something special from Eminem. But you know what? It is what it is. He did create a hit song out of it, phenomenal. So there you go. But 8 Mile, if you have not seen it, basically it's Eminem's real life movie set in a fictional narrative. So I really enjoy it. Brian, I know for a fact that it's not in your top 2 slots. So would you like to discuss The Mile of 8?
Absolutely. The Mile of 8 is an incredible movie, directed by the late Curtis Hanson, the guy who directed L.A. Confidential. I'm happy Lose Yourself won the Oscar for best song. I'm really happy that they gave it to a hip hop song. Then they did that later with what was that group?
3 6 Mafia, Hustle and Flow.
Yes.
It's hard out here to
glad
be a pimp.
It happened there. Yes. And it's crazy because I watched the Oscar speech, and sadly, Eminem wasn't even there. That's the thing. It would have been great if he was on stage accepting an Academy Award, because, whenever a musician wins an Oscar, Bruce Springsteen has an Oscar for the Philadelphia song that he wrote. Jared Leto obviously has an Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club, and I always find it interesting whenever musicians whenever musicians become actors, Will Smith, Ice Cube, Mark Wahlberg, all these musicians turned actors. And when I watched this movie, I was so impressed with how Eminem showed his true acting chops. He was incredible in the movie, and I honestly would have loved if he got a Best Actor nomination. Would he have won that year? Probably not, but it was a really incredible performance. And, I guess when you're under the direction of Curtis Hanson, that is saying something. This guy, I've always liked this guy's work. L.A. Confidential is one of my favorite crime movies of all time. And then he did Wonder Boys. And, 8 Mile, showed that Eminem was great. And, he's really great at drama. And, I wish he continued that. I wish he continued acting. And look, I still like his music. I think he has written some really great music. But I think he should go back to acting for a little while. Just for a little while. Maybe he's waiting for the right project to tackle, which is totally understandable. It's probably like a Daniel Day-Lewis where he's waiting for the right project. And, 8 Mile is incredible. It's in my top 10 films about music for sure. I just couldn't put it on my top 5 list because, to be honest, I haven't seen it as many times as these 5 films that I put on the list. So yeah, 8 Mile, incredible pick.
Yeah, it was just one of those ones that came out of nowhere. And I don't care what anyone says about Lose Yourself. That song is iconic. It really is. Like, if you want to think about the song that perfectly describes Eminem, it's that. And the best way to describe, like, the beat to the song is just as catchy as, like, anything, speaking of Dr. Dre would do. It sounds like a Dr. Dre song. So it's kind of cool to just listen to it now after so many years, and it still just has that impact. So that is my number 3. Guys, we're getting into our top 2. Now, I have a feeling that we have the same number 1. But I don't know Brian's number 2. Brian, is there any way to give a hint without spoiling so I can guess?
School.
Oh, I know what it is. Brian, would you like to introduce the one where Jack Black is doing shit in front of a classroom?
Yes, School of Rock is my second film, my second favorite film about music. It's, this is directed by Richard Linklater, and this is, I will go on by saying this is my personal favorite film he's done. I also think it's one of his more underrated films. It's not his best film. I say this to some film people that I talk to. My favorite of his is this, but his best to me is Before Sunset. Like, that to me is the best film he's ever made. Yes, I'm sorry. Boyhood is second. I just think Before Sunset is made better because that is made in real time.
Well,
whole movie.
Let me just
go
say
ahead.
this: the Before trilogy is some of the best group of movies. Period. Like,
absolutely.
I know that people like Dazed and Confused and Boyhood, as do I. But if you guys have not seen the Before movies, for the love of God, get on that. Anyways, Brian, continue.
Yes. The whole movie is School of Rock is also, I think, is more mainstream film. Like, if you're not someone who's seen Richard Linklater's movies because he's very indie, this is probably the most mainstream film he's done. Like, anyone could enjoy it. Jack Black's performance is absolutely phenomenal as Dewey Finn. The guy, he's a rocker, and he's not able to succeed in life, so what he does is impersonate his friend Ned Schneebly. Hello, this is Ned Schneebly. And he goes to this school and teaches kids how to play music and form a rock band, and it's awesome. It's so much fun. The music is great. Jack Black, like I said, he's incredible. He got a Golden Globe nomination. He should have gotten an Oscar nomination. I'm going to live by saying that he should have gotten an Academy Award nomination. His performance was that good. And, he worked with Linklater again with Bernie, which is another great movie. He's usually great with Linklater. He's always good when it comes to working with Linklater. But Linklater's the fucking man. He's the best. And School of Rock, it's just a great, great movie. It's so funny, so heartfelt.
It makes you feel good. It's like a feel-good movie.
It's a feel-good movie. No matter, you could watch this movie anytime, and it will make you feel good. You watch this movie when you're sad, it will make you feel much better. And it's such an important movie to me. This was the first Linklater movie I ever saw. It came out when I was 5 years old. I remember watching it here in my home with my family, and that's why it's really special to me. Like, I've grown up with this film for the last 14 years, and it never gets old. This movie doesn't feel old. It feels fresh. You can watch it anytime, and it just doesn't get old. It's just a wonderful movie, and it's catchy. It's awesome. And then the Teacher's Pet song at the end, it's just great. I just love School of Rock so much. All the kids are incredible. Jack Black, like I said, great. Joan Cusack, hilarious in the movie as the principal. Mike White, who wrote the screenplay for this movie, he plays Ned Schneebly. He was good. And my God, Sarah Silverman, what a fucking cunt. Oh my God, what a bitch in this movie. Oh God, and every time she fought with Jack Black, it was so funny. It was always great. Like, I love this movie so much. I just love this. What's your name? Freddie Jones. Freddie Jones. Shut up. I love this movie so much. It's incredible. School of Rock, my number 2.
Yeah, it was one of those ones where I saw late in the game. I believe the first ever Linklater film I saw was Dazed and Confused without even knowing it. And then, of course, as I get older and stuff, I check up stuff like Boyhood. And, I got to give my boy Adam Bilbrey some props, man. Because if he didn't turn me on to the Before trilogy, I would have never watched it. He told me it was some of the best movies ever made. I watched all three in one night. Went to work really fucking tired. So, there you go. Yeah. Great pick. It's one of those, like I said, very feel-good, very inspirational, and just overall a really lighthearted, funny movie with some really great dramatic moments. But it had a really great chemistry between all the kids in the class and, of course, Jack Black. But Jack Black does have that kind of like substitute presence, if you will. Like he just walks into class like, hey, type of deal. So, I do like me some Jack Black quite a bit, and School Rock is definitely one of my favorites of his. My number 2 is something I saw literally, I think, just last year or 2 years ago, but it was one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen. I can't believe I didn't watch this movie until now. But good old This Is Spinal Tap. Holy shit, what a great mockumentary. If you think Popstar is great, go back and watch the OG. Directed by Rob Reiner, and one of the writers is Christopher Guest. That should show you how funny it will be. And when you watch it, just from the opening scene and onward, it's one of the best. Like, there's nothing more to say. The film is about this documentary crew that follows this band called Spinal Tap in England, and they're kind of just going on tour and whatnot. And they're the biggest thing, and so they're just kind of following them as they go on this tour. That's it. There's really nothing more to say about it. It's just that good. Really funny. Probably one of my favorite Rob Reiner directed movies for sure. So, I'm really glad I saw it. If you guys are into mockumentaries, I suggest you check it out. It was on Netflix for a while. That's how I watched it. I don't think it's on there anymore. But if you like mockumentaries and stuff about music and fake bands and whatnot, give it a shot. I think you'll like it. So that is my number 2. I know it's not on your list, but I mean, have you seen this one?
It's really fucking good. Rob Reiner. This was actually his directorial debut. He was just coming off of All in the Family. And, Rob Reiner is a hell of an incredible filmmaker. He's made some of my favorite movies of all time with Stand By Me, Misery, A Few Good Men, When Harry Met Sally, The Princess Bride. The guy is fucking awesome. And This Is Spinal Tap is really fucking awesome. I love mockumentaries, like in terms of TV and movies, like obviously The Office and Parks and Rec, and recently The Muppets, and many other movies, of course. This is Spinal Tap, and also as someone who's a huge fan of rock and roll, I just really love the vibe of it. Like, I felt like when I was watching it, I felt like I was just watching this group that was similar to, like, Rolling Stone in a way.
Yeah.
The Rolling Stones, and, like, as someone who's a huge fan of that group, it was just so awesome to watch. And I actually watched this in one of my classes last year during my freshman year of college, and it was just so incredible that as someone who's a huge fan of rock and roll, and someone who's been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, who's listened to rock and roll pretty much my whole life. I've been a fan of rock and roll since I was a little kid. I really appreciate This Is Spinal Tap. It's definitely one of my favorite films from Rob Reiner. Definitely one of the best rock music films we have out there. It's just incredible.
Yeah. Like I said, if it's on Netflix, check it out. If not, go find it. All right, so our number 1. Brian, would you like to start? Would you like to describe it?
Okay.
No. So here's too fast. I want you to just try this again. Could you describe the movie?
You got.
Nope. It's I'm sorry. It's just a hair too slow. You're doing okay. You're doing okay. You want to try this again?
You got
no. This is serious. You were joining the School of High Arts here. I'm gonna give you one more shot. Can you please describe me this movie? And please just feel it. Just feel it.
In this movie, you got.
This is not the fucking tempo I was looking for, sir. But you can go ahead and tell everyone anyways and fuck it up.
Okay, our number one. Every time we have this movie related to the particular episode we do, we always have to put it as our number one, Whiplash.
It.
Whiplash is one of the greatest movies ever made.
I mean,
It came out 3 years ago.
Yeah,
it's
It's going to be one of the best ones. Like I'm not telling you this because Brian and I are still hyped from it. Which, by the way, if we were actually hyped from this movie and the hype died down, it would have died like last year. The fact that it's 3 years later and we're still talking about this fucking movie, which I still think this should have been, more of a Best Picture pusher than La La Land, but that's another story. But
yeah, I agree.
But Whiplash is one of the best ever made. Like I'm dead serious when I say this. If you want to be a filmmaker and you're going to school for this, I really wish this film would have been out when I was in film school. If you want to be a fucking editor, watch this movie and you will get a sense on how to edit a movie with the right tempo, pun intended, per scene, whether it be about them drumming or whether it's about Miles Teller and his girlfriend just having a simple dinner. You slow it down a little bit. Like, it's so perfectly edited, it actually makes my head hurt on how fucking good it is. There's really nothing more to say. It's got some great performances, iconic editing. Yeah, that's right, I said it. Every time I watch it still blows my mind. Even though I know the edits are coming, it still blows my mind on how it's put together. I think it's Damien Chazelle's best directed movie. That's right, I said it. I think La La Land is fine. It's a good movie. But Whiplash is far superior, and it knocks it down in the fucking dirt. J.K. Simmons got his Oscar win for that. I mean, he was a lock. As soon as I saw that movie, I stood up, and I was like, yeah, he's got this. He's going to win this award. But the whole energy of the movie is just so fast-paced and so compelling. You were glued to your seat, and you just want to see more of this chemistry between J.K. and Miles. And for all those people that say that Miles Teller can't act, please watch Whiplash. Yes, does he appear like a dick in real life? Sure, I'll give you that. But if you watch this movie, you can kind of see why people keep putting him in the movies. Like, he's just that good. And he's a great actor. His persona is what keeps him from being great. And so, Whiplash is one of the best, period. It will be. It's still going to be one of my favorites in my collection. I'm not even joking. I have about maybe 500 plus movies in my collection. If I had to pick my favorite top 10 right now, no joke, Whiplash would be in that top 10, period. No debate, it would. So, yeah, Whiplash is one of the best. It's been 3 years. Let's keep it going. By the time I'm fucking 50 or on my deathbed, I'll still be thinking about this movie. Brian, take it away. Why is Whiplash that good?
Whiplash is just one of the best films ever made. It's in my top 10 of all time, and it was my favorite movie of 2014. It's my second favorite film of the decade so far, behind The Social Network. It's incredible. Whiplash, this film inspired me to become an editor. I was a junior in high school when this movie came out, and I knew that after I saw this, I'm like, I want to become an editor, because I already knew that I wanted to go for filmmaking, but I had no idea what I wanted to do. I didn't know if I wanted to direct or write or shoot or do some lighting. I didn't know what I wanted to do. But this movie made me want to become an editor. Tom Cross, I'm glad he won the Oscar for this. And, he edited La La Land really fucking well. And, I love La La Land, but Whiplash is the better movie. I understand that La La Land might be a little more easier to watch. I understand that. But Whiplash was engrossing, engaging. It was so fucking powerful, and it's a drama. It's kind of a psychological thriller in a way. But this movie gets under your skin in a disgusting way. J.K. Simmons, I still think that's one of the top 5 best performances in this decade so far. I'm glad he won the Oscar, and I agree with you, Chase. When I saw the movie, I knew that he was a lock. I knew he was going to win the Oscar, and he did. I wish this film got more of a Best Picture push, because even though I adore the fuck out of Birdman and Boyhood, I wouldn't have been mad if this film won. And I'm not mad Birdman won, because I fucking loved Birdman. But if Whiplash won, that would have been awesome. And I'm glad Damien has an Oscar under his manual for La La Land. He's the youngest director to win. but I would have wanted it to be for Whiplash instead. But you know what? La La Land was a really well-directed movie, so, can't blame the Academy on that. But Whiplash, incredible, engrossing, just one of the best films of the decade, one of the best films ever made. It's going to be a classic within the next few years. It's going to be regarded as a cinematic achievement. And you know what? I agree. All film schools around the world should show this, and I believe they are. I didn't watch it in film school. I saw the movie when it came out in the theater, and of course I watched it on my own time. So yeah, Whiplash, easily the best film about music, period.
Yeah, and before we get into our honorable mentions, it's really funny, like, nowadays, as Brian and I watch more and more movies in our life, we can sit there, watch a movie, stand up, leave the theater, and actually probably pinpoint what this movie's going to win in terms of awards. I remember when I saw Whiplash, it was the same way, where I was like, yeah, that's got supporting actor in the bag. When I saw Moonlight, I turned to Joel and I was like, this is the best picture of the year. Like, it just, you know that feeling. And Whiplash is one of those feelings where you watch it and you go, I feel like I just watched one of the best movies, and going to be one of those movies like later down the line in our lives that's going to be kind of like looked back and be like, that was an underrated little classic there. So I'm glad that we got to live through it, because it is something that we can, tell future generations about and stuff. And so we get to brag about it, like, we lived it, we saw it in a theater type of deal. So Whiplash, go check it out if you haven't seen it. And if someone had a gun to my head and said, you could only watch one Damien Chazelle movie for the rest of your life, I'm going to go with Whiplash. I know all those La La Land people out there just love that movie so much. If you start watching the movie over and over again, you start to realize, I don't know if I really want to watch that movie as much, but you always want to watch Whiplash. You always want to see that the performances and just the way it's edited and put together. It is just an amazing piece of work. So go check it out if you haven't seen it. Actually, I'll tell you what. I don't do this often. Blind buy it. Don't even rent it. Just go buy it. It's a really great movie, great looking movie on Blu-ray. So if you can find it for cheap, get it. I would suggest it. It's definitely worth it. So what about you guys? What are some of your favorite films about music? Please comment below my face and let me know. And please school me on why I'm such a millennial, and give me some other picks, and give Brian some other picks, because we're such millennials. All right, so here's our list. Brian 5-1, Straight Outta Compton, Inside Llewyn Davis, Sing Street, School Rock, and Whiplash. For me, 5-1, Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping, Straight Outta Compton, 8 Mile, This Is Spinal Tap, and Whiplash. Brian, for honorable mentions, Dewey Cox, Pitch Perfect. That's it. I don't have any more. Like, okay.
Yeah, Dewey Cox, Pitch Perfect, one sequel, Band-Aid, which like I said, I've already seen it, and it's incredible. I cannot wait for more people to watch it. Begin Again, Walk the Line, Ray, Almost Famous, 8 Mile, The Blues Brothers, Dreamgirls, and Footloose, the original. The remake,
Well, okay, never mind. I guess I have seen the one. I saw the remake of Footloose, which I think I saw the original way back when, but I don't remember it. So, like I said, I just don't remember most of these. But I never saw Ray, never saw Almost Famous, never saw Dreamgirls, never saw Walk the Line. I'm so behind this genre. Kill me. All right, so for dishonorable mentions, I don't have any, because I just listed to you every single movie I've seen within this genre.
I can't think of any either. I don't even know what the worst one I've seen is. And I'm gonna upset everybody in the film community right now. This isn't a bad movie by any means, but I think this film is extremely overrated. They showed this movie to me in 7th grade music class, and I have no idea why the fuck they would show this movie to 13-year-olds. Chase, have you seen Amadeus?
I believe they showed that to us in school. Yeah, just like you. But was that the... Which one was that about again?
That's the Mozart movie.
See, like I said, I really need to get up on this genre.
Listen, I think it's a good movie, but my God, it is so overrated. Oh God, damn it.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about that one.
I mean, it's good. Like, it's well done and well acted. And F. Murray Abraham won the Oscar for it, but it's not that great of a movie. It's fine, but why would you show it to a 13-year-olds? No one's gonna care about Mozart at 13. Maybe at 17, but 13?
Okay, so I guess I have seen another one. See, now you're flooding back my memories. I remember I watched, also in school, do you remember the movie Mr. Holland's Opus?
I do.
Okay, I saw that one. Okay, so, all right, guys, that is it for this week. There's nothing really more to talk about because we're lame in this category, but we give you some pretty awesome picks for sure. All right, Brian, this is actually a good question before we get into next week's topic. Whiplash, we can both agree, is going to be one of the best in our lifetime for sure. It's going to be regarded as a classic. If you had to pick another one on your list, which one do you think could actually hold the test of time and actually become a classic?
Oh, God. Oh.
You can only pick one. Only one.
I'm debating between Saint Street and Llewyn Davis.
Which one do you think's got the edge?
I think Saint Street is going to become a classic down the line.
Interesting.
Down the road. I think that's going to be a classic.
I think cult classic, Popstar. Popstar will definitely be a cult classic for sure, and it will definitely get more eyes. Just like when I said this is the end will be a cult classic, it's in that same category, so there you go. All right, guys, once again, please let us know what are some of your favorite films about music. John, give me some suggestions, please. I know you're listening. And everyone else that comments, please comment down below and let us know. Brian, what are we doing next week?
Next week, The Mummy comes out into theaters starring Mr. Tom Cruise. We've already honored Tom Cruise, so we're going to do our top 5 monster films. Or monster movies, if you want to be nasty.
Monster movies. So what are the rules for this?
Well, okay, since there's been many like King Kong and Godzilla movies, you can only choose one incarnation of them. Okay. You can't choose like the same movie, like if it's the same title, you have to choose one version of it. So like if there's a remake and then another remake, you can only choose one. So like say The Thing, you can only choose either the original one from the 30s, John Carpenter's The Thing, or the one from 2011.
Okay, so basically one per franchise, essentially.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So, all right, so Monsters movies, I'm excited because I can actually have The Mummy eligible because I believe I'm seeing that on Tuesday. So if we record after that, well, I'll have it eligible. But yeah, this should be a lot of fun. Monster movies are always some of my favorites. And there actually might be a monster movie directed by a pretty famous director that's got a sequel in theaters right now. I don't know. If you know what I'm talking about, I guess you'll have to find out. A little nipple tease in there for you guys. All right, so monster movies next week. I'm excited. Brian's excited. Brian, where can the people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at FilmChunkyBrian and on YouTube at Brian Sudfield.
That's right, and you can follow me on Twitter at RealChaseLee. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get up to dates on when we post these things. And we both have podcasts on Sundays. Go check those out. All the links will be in the description below. And until next time, we will see you for another episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live with me, Chase Lee, and my co-host,
Brian Sudfield.
That's fucking right. See you guys next week for Real Monsters Nickelodeon reference. I'm such a goddamn 90s kid. Goodbye. I'm gonna go cry.